Hello, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us for this BHM conversation with Qweerty Gamers. My name is Danny Burke, and I am the interim board president of Qweerty Gamers. And today we have a really super dope, exciting conversation with a bunch of Black excellence. And I mean,
yes.
and so I want to take the time to then thank you and open the floor for everyone to introduce themselves. Whoever wants to go first.
I'll go first. My name is Ace or Ash, whichever you want to call me. I am a Black queer immigrant content creator. I predominantly stream on Twitch. Haven't done that in 2 months though, because I'm taking care of my mental health. But when I do have the spoons, I've been going live on TikTok, which has been rather interesting, to say the least.
Oh, you?
I like interesting.
No, you're the white guy.
Yeah. Hopefully we can get into that because it's a little like I get like not hate-rated, but a lot of hate over there as well.
That's
For being Black and gay. It is. And the moderation obviously isn't as, I don't want to say good, but like Commander Root doesn't exist for TikTok. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I love TikTok.
Oh. I say, I'm going to sleep, y'all. Good night, leaving Discord. No, I'm saying TikTok since for like another 2 hours. And when someone's like, either get back in this Discord or go to bed. I was like, leave me alone. You don't see anything. Okay, mind your business. But watch these TikToks that I sent you. I guess. Yeah, so yeah, my name is Aphasia Speaks. I'm a Black genderqueer drag artist here on Twitch. I run the Speakeasy, and I am genderqueer. He, she, they pronouns in drag. He, she, they out of drag, and yeah, I've been doing drag for 2.5 years at this point. Mostly all digital here on Twitch, and I'm loud, I'm opinionated, and I say really stupid things all the time. So, but like funny stupid, not like I'm stupid, you know. it's smart stupid.
I like
There's
that.
a difference. There's a difference. But yeah.
Well, thank you. Alrighty. And I just want to say real quick on your TikTok, let me tell you, how do you start off? Because I'll start off on my back like this. And then I'm just sitting up, ruined for the night.
Fully. So like, I'll sit here. I sleep on my side, so I'm like on my side initially,
I still need to watch
and then I look up. Then I go to the other side, and then somehow I like turn on my stomach. But like a really good TikTok is going on. I'm like, oh my god! And I watch it over and over again, and then eventually I'm like, well, fuck, now I gotta go pee. So I go pee, and I'm sitting down the toilet peeing for like 30 minutes. I'm like, I finished peeing like 20 minutes ago. What are we doing here? And then I'm like, you know what? Like I look and the sun's coming up, and I was like, I gotta go to bed. So let me stop for the evening, and then I fully expect my friends to react to those while I'm sleeping in the morning. So yeah, there it is.
Cool. All right, Tiffany.
Oh, hi. My name is Tiffany Witcher. I'm known as the Charity Witch on Twitch. I do a lot of charity streams. I'm an accessibility advocate. I go by she, they. I'm a non-binary, bisexual VTuber. There's a lot to say. A non-binary, bisexual VTuber who enjoys basically making things more accessible for everyone in the disabled community.
Period.
Love it. And I'm going to say, like, all right, I'll just admit, like, hopefully this is the place I could do it. But when I be scrolling through I'm going to call it my dark TikTok. I mean, my dark Twitter, because you have your real Twitter, and then you have your dark Twitter that, like.
Oh, the alt Twitter.
The not safe for work Twitter.
The not safe for work Twitter, the one you be like videos on.
Oh, we know.
I'll see some VTube style stuff come on, and I'm like, okay. And so I might have to adopt the little VTube thing because I'm really.
You said.
Oh my Lanta.
She fully said, "Is this gonna weaken something in me?" I guess so. I guess we'll have to find out.
Yeah, I believe.
What kind of spells you trying to cast on me? Okay.
Well, God, Levy, sa. Okay.
I'm pretty sure most people know what the whole VTube thing is, and I make this joke to lead into. Can you real quick before we get into it further? Can you real quick tell me about the sexy VTube thing and tell me more about it?
The sexy VTube thing. Are you talking about VR chat? Because it's like strippers and stuff. Yeah.
Hold on, I gotta
go this VR chat strippers, and people actually get paid to virtually strip on.
I've seen. There's one TikTok I saw. Someone's like, because there's like on my way to work at the club, whatever, right? This was on my way to work at the club. She fully just like pulled up a chair in sweats, put on the Oculus, and just said,
"Yeah."
I was like, "Work, bitch! You better make that virtual money."
I mean, yeah. I mean, yeah. There's I forget what it's called off the top of my head, but there's a male version, there's a female version, there is intergender with different genders and different backgrounds. But yeah, there's like, yeah, it's interesting. There is a sexy side of the VTuber space, and like, I don't necessarily do a lot of sexy stuff because sponsors, but
period.
But I see a lot of things. So, but yeah, there's some very sexy VTubers out there. We just gotta be careful because we can get banned for our models too. There have been VTubers that have been banned even for a little bit of under boob and stuff like that. Yeah.
Oh wow.
You gotta be careful when you make your model.
I've been following like VTubers for like a couple years now, and like the VTuber models have gotten so incredibly intricate. And I'm just like, what is like, am I transported into this anime, bitch? Because I am living. like look, I am not into like Twinkie men, but like,
oh yeah,
some of the VTubers, I'm like, okay, you can come ruin my credit score for a bit. That's fine.
Not that.
That's okay.
I gotta admit, them I'm good for a twink, and so when you throw me a elfish twink, I'm there.
Oh, there's plenty of those. Oh yeah, there's plenty of those.
There's a lot of them. And you know what is most of the time? It's the voice that gets me, because I'm like, you're like, oh, look at this twink, and it's like some deep, sexy voice. I'm like, oh, bitch, I gotta go.
Done.
Flooded. I don't know what elven realm mythical forest you from, but I'm packing my bags.
Yeah.
Legolas has nothing on you, girl.
All right, so okay, I'm gonna get my little shameless plug in. And so, as I said, I'm Danny. I am the interim board chair or board president here at Qweerty Gamers. I'm an MBA student specializing in marketing. I work in digital advertising. I am more of a hobbyist gamer. But what really brings me to this space is I am a big fan of the media, right? And I look at gaming as a huge source of media consumption that I use as a kid to escape and deal with the minority stresses of society and being queer, being gay, being Black, etc. And so me being within this organization or working in advertising, digital advertising in general, it's my gay agenda. But I'm just shameless about it. Like I'm here to create more safe spaces and ensure that, you know, we're able to have a platform that, sorry, my dog's going crazy, a platform that makes it safe, especially for queer people, but then also queer Black people, which so why I appreciate all of us being together. And so I kind of want to throw out our first question and ask you all about your Black experience and your queer experience and your queer Black experience within gaming.
Oof.
Oh,
that's loaded as hell. Damn.
Right? Because I feel like we all gonna say the same thing.
Okay. You know what? I'll go.
Who wants to start?
All right.
You know what? I'll do it.
I'll take a sip. Hold on. Let me get my drink ready. Is this tea gonna be good?
I'm also a voice actor. So I've voiced acted in a lot of indie games, and I will say for the gaming space, as someone who wants to get into gaming and voice acting, it was a lot worse. It was a lot worse in the aspect of when we used to audition for voices, and it was clearly a Black character. You would get a lot of Black character stereotypes when you hear certain characters talk and things like that. For example, and this is no shade to the voice actor, if anyone ever played League of Legends, there's a character named Lucian, and he is not voiced by a Black person, but you can tell the voice actor tried to go for a certain sound for the character.
Urban, inner city.
I wouldn't say urban, but more like a southern, like he kind of talks like this kind of voice, you know, but it's very, like, I would have thought that was my uncle. Let me put it like that. And now it's gotten to a point where it is getting better. People are listening and people are saying, look, we're looking for a Black person to voice this character because we want them to have we want this to happen this and a gay. We're looking for a gay person to voice this character because they understand and they will feel the character more better. And now they're getting into the non-binary space, and I've had the pleasure and to voice non-binary characters now because companies are now starting to understand that people will act better if they relate more to the character instead of someone just grabbing a bag. So, like I said, back in the day, it used to be like, I would say about 3+ years ago, it used to be bad, but now more Black voices, more Black queer voices are coming forward as in the voice actor community in gaming and getting roles. Just now, they just casted a Black man to play Ty in Digimon. So like that is big. Digimon is like one of the biggest animes of all time. And now we're getting more Black voice actors in the anime space to voice anime characters. And that's so freaking expiring right now. So yeah, it's getting better, but like there are still problematic things that are happening. Like, you know, people are like, well, why do they have to be Black and why do they have to be queer in order to play this character? It matters the talent. No, not necessarily. Not necessarily in every aspect. If that person does not relate to the character whatsoever, that performance will be flat. Period. It won't feel, you won't feel that character. And then for the next generation of voice actors, they won't come up and be like, oh, I want to get voice acting, you know, and things like that. So yeah, from a voice acting perspective in gaming, it's gotten better, but there are still problematic things going on.
You know what I love about what you said is when talking about like anime and Digimon and a Black character, when we talk about in advertising the power of the Black consumer, one of the things we often have to sell or talk about or try to pitch is being more inclusive to Black people and how we're creating our ads and how we're reaching and sending out those ads and how we're like buying media around it. And one of the things is like more Black people are watching anime in America, in the United States, than most of the population.
Yeah,
100%.
Twitch specific, I have a piece here. This is male oriented, but Black men average double the amount of time on Twitch than the average male.
Yeah.
So the average male is watching around 34 minutes daily of Twitch. The average Black male is watching 77 minutes. So when you think about creating or ensuring that gaming is inclusive, you have to include Black voices. You have to include Black characters in a positive, normal light, normalizing the storyline of these characters and including Black voices and all this different stuff. So I love what you said, because data is backing the fact that we need more representation, because Black people need to feel like we belong in order to purchase, also in order to buy. So it's behooving of game devs and media in general to be more inclusive of queer Blackness, because queer Blackness is often at the forefront of Black liberation in general. And so like Black voices, and it's going to help the bottom line dollar for the gaming companies.
Yeah, like I love anime. I'm a big old weeb, right? Love me some anime, and I've been watching since I can remember. Okay, you would think my first anime would be Dragon Ball Z because it was on Toonami, whatever. No, it's Sailor Moon. Gay. First sign right there should have been that. I watched Dragon Ball Z and I was like, that looks boring. Literally pretty girls in these little skirts over here. But while watching anime for the like majority of my life, it's like cartoons in general. It's especially in anime, they have drawn Black people so incredibly racist for so long.
Oh yeah,
like Mr. Popo for once. You know, you have like the giant lips in whatever. And it wasn't until like a couple of years ago where I was like watching anime and like more black people started coming around, like Hunter x Hunter, Canary, gorgeous, fucking looks like Rihanna. Okay, I was like, she is stunning. I love her. She's a badass. Okay, then like, have anyone seen Carolyn Tuesday? She's stunning in there too. And I'm just like, we're coming to a point where Japanese animators are seeing black people not as a caricature, but actual people, and giving us real features and giving us like our hair that we deserve and things like that. Best black anime character from what I've seen my entire life, early on, Piccolo from Dragon Ball Z. Let's be real. Piccolo's a great black single father. Okay.
Yes.
Goku is the villain of Dragon Ball. I will not be taking questions at this time. I'm just saying it's a fact. It's a fact. Horrible father and still a child. But
one of like the first like animes that actually also got black people right was Cowboy Bebop.
Oh, 100%.
Oh my god. It's an older anime, like 90s. But they respected how black people looked in that anime so early. I forget the name of the character, but she was like, she literally came out the 70s, like Foxy Brown, like character.
The first episode with the giant afro, right?
Yeah, but she wasn't like red lips or anything. She wasn't over exaggerated, and like I was just like, wow, this is different. Let's go. Me watching Adult Swim at like 1 a.m.
I should be in bed, but I'm not. So.
Yeah, I was like, but yeah, it's just like, I think on the anime spectrum, Japanese are actually doing better for black characters finally.
Yeah. So good. I didn't know this until recently, but Jet in Cowboy Bebop is mixed. He's half black.
Yeah.
I didn't know that. And I was like, well, that makes sense.
Oh, yeah.
This man right here has some kind of swagger to him that no white man can ever have. So,
he's voiced by a black person, too.
He is, isn't he?
Yeah.
Jet is just so sexy. I don't care what anyone says. I watched the Netflix adaptation. I liked it. It was camp. And that's what Cowboy Bebop was the whole time. It was just a campy, like, spaghetti western set in space.
Yes.
And I was like,
I loved it. Yeah.
Whatever. I don't know. I loved it. But also, to backtrack, do we controversy get brave? Digimon better than Pokemon series-wise?
Oh, amen.
It's way better than Pokemon. I'd rather watch Digimon over and over again than watch Pokemon and see Ash Ketchum be a bitch again. So,
I mean, he finally just got his Pokemon League win. Finally,
yeah, and the motherfucker's been 10 for 20 years. At least in Digimon, they grew up.
Yeah, they did grow up. Yeah, they are grown up now.
We know really
they got kids too.
And crack, right? So like,
exactly.
If we're not gonna age something, let's not age the black character. Does that mean?
Because black don't crack.
Well, okay, so hold on. I'm curious, Ace. Like, what is your thought on blackness within gaming? Because, like, for me, when I think of like Grand Theft Auto being this huge game, right? And mind you, I'm really happy about their announced their development. So I'm curious, like, because one of my frustrations always was how black characters within that game was portrayed, and how it allowed people to like live out these like really toxic anti-black like fantasies in it. And, like, that's just my example. But Ace, like, tell me what do you think about some of this, the issues within gaming and representation in it?
Absolutely. So I feel like for me, I'm tired of seeing people capitalize on black trauma in all the video games that I play mostly, or what I enjoy. But two games that I have been playing a lot of is like Rogue Company and Apex, both shooters, obviously. And
we're an Apex player.
I did not say that. I said I've played Apex.
No. You said the word. The words have been said. Remind me to send you a link to the Discord I'm in, because all we do is play Apex and be super duper gay in it. So.
Oh, I'm down.
I'm down for that. Hold on.
Oh, you Apex too, girl? Oh.
Just actually got started playing Apex too.
Yeah.
But like,
I mean,
they have representation in those two games. Like 100%. I can speak more to Rogue Company. They have a character that I made, Lancer, who's a French woman that has like an afro, which I typically have my afro out. So that made me feel seen. But then in like the second, third season, they started changing her characteristics. And I noticed like off the bat, because that's somebody I'm paying attention to, where she looked more fake and like more like like if she had just gotten surgery or something like that. Like it just looked weird. And that happened a lot with the Asian characters there too. A lot of the POC characters, just their parents changed. I didn't stop playing the game, but I did start looking into like who the developers were and like listening to their Twitch talks and things like that. And it's nothing but white people. And as somebody that is very big in DEI, I think it's disgusting that they still can't get certain things right, and the only thing they seem to get right are Black trauma. Like I like playing Last of Us. Black people portrayed doing hood shit over there. Like the one reason I felt very seen in Last of Us 2 is because they were smoking a shit ton of weed. Like
that early scene, I said, Ellie said, "Oh, we found some weed," and I was like, "Y'all found some weed." Hell yeah.
Right.
Smoke weed, right? Like
Exactly. Smoke weed and shoot shit up. Like I'm just tired of seeing that shit, and we need to do better. But when it comes to being non-binary, I haven't seen a lot of that. I heard there is like a non-binary character or two in Apex, and I want to look more into it.
Yes,
but
I will talk about that after you're done with that, because I can talk about Apex all day.
No, please go ahead, interject, because I want to know more.
Okay, so Bloodhound is the very first character that they developed. They are a non-binary legend. Legend as in like they're legendary, but also they are legend in Apex Legends. That's what they're called. They're the queer and POC representation in Apex from day one. And the developers have backed it up and said, these are who these people are. Get over it. So there's Bloodhound, who's non-binary. Okay, nice. We never actually see their face. Their voice is like weird change because they have that like breathe with like respirator, and there's like a total badass, right? There's
Gibraltar. POC too.
The voice actor is POC. Oh,
yeah. All the voice actors are POCs are represented properly.
Yes, it's such a Respawn. I love Respawn. They did it well. I love Respawn for what they did with the game. We'll talk about the monetization later. That's a whole different issue. That's for a different day. However, there's Bloodhound's non-binary. Gibraltar is this big Samoan man who is gay. Like
he's fine too.
Sit on me, daddy. Like let's fucking go.
Yeah, he's gay. I want to cuddle him still. Though.
We have Loba, who is a bisexual Latinx legend, bombshell, the fattest ass I've ever seen in any kind of video game. Okay. Who else? We have Seer,
Valkyrie.
This fine black man Seer, who is a pansexual icon. He looks like a mix of Prince and Lil Nas X, and he is just gorgeous.
Lil Nas X can get it. I'm sorry.
I'm waiting for them to have a Lil Nas X digital concert like Fortnite did with Ariana Grande. Like. Let this man come down on the dropship on a giant pole and fuck the devil. I'm just saying.
I think Valkyrie is gay too.
Valkyrie's a lesbian.
Yeah, because
Bangalore is a lesbian. Yeah. Bangalore, beautiful black woman, lesbian. Valkyrie, beautiful Asian woman, Japanese, lesbian. There's Mirage, who is questioning their sexuality.
Okay.
It's just so incredibly queer, and what's really great too is that you have like badges on your banner whenever you go into a match. They have a Black Lives Matter badge. They have a Stop Asian Hate. They have a Pride badge, and they have a Suicide Awareness badge.
Yep.
And Respawn constantly has to reaffirm to these straight cis bros out there that hey, gay people exist, queer people exist, and they will shoot you in the face if you don't shut up.
I'm curious. So with this success in Apex and having such inclusive belonging, and I think this is something I like to say is people talk about DE&I, but DE&I is just like, it's turned into this idea of like, we have a policy. Yeah, we'll continue it because you stopped, right? How do you create more? It's moving from inclusion to belonging. And it sounds to me like Apex has done something that a lot of gaming companies are scared to try to do, is they've been able to create a game that creates belonging. Like, look how passionate you are because you feel a belonging in the game.
Yeah.
So like, let's just say like, we know how they did it because they're doing it, but how have they done it without triggering cis straight people, and especially cis white straight people? And then how can other companies sort of emulate that success?
Hire
other devs, like ever devs.
Hire the right people.
Hire the right people. Yeah, you need to do the research, the outreach to the community. Just like blatantly tell people, hey, this person is this. This is who they are. This is how they identify as. If you don't like it, get out.
Right.
Like game companies can hire consultants. It's not that hard to do that. I think Mortal Kombat did it for the indigenous community with Nightwolf. They actually hired indigenous consultants to come in to get the character right and not him being a caricature, a stereotype. So I don't know with these multi-million-dollar companies like Respawn, because they work for EA, I believe.
Yeah, they're under EA.
So I don't understand why they can't take the time to hire the right consultation, whether it being from people of color, whether it being from the gay community, whether it being from the disability community. Hire the right freaking people. Hire the right people, right? Hire the right people.
It's not that hard. They're out there.
They're there. There are people there. You're just not taking the time to get them because you just want to make your game and you're under these time constraints. But making the game right will bring more to your community, more than you know. Oh my gosh, these companies have no idea what they're missing out on.
Right. Actually, there's a game that I think I don't know if y'all heard of it. The like Elder something game, right?
Elden Ring.
Elden Ring.
Lacking this. Like how? Like I don't know. Have you heard anything about that?
I actually will be playing it on Tuesday to get my view on the game. So I can't really 100%, but I did hear about the skin color thing, and I was
heard about that too, and it's so incredibly sad and disappointing that a huge game like that, like we are far beyond the point that we can't get darker skin tones right. Because like when I started playing Final Fantasy 14 online, right? I'm like, okay, I'm gonna make my character, and like there was like green and gray undertones making him like ashy or like Shrek. I'm just like, ugh. I can't do that. Like, I love me a good character creation. I love doing that. And it's like a lot of games I've played think that darker skin tones are just like void of any kind of color. It's like they're dark and that's it. It's like we have highlights, we have lowlights, we have shadows on our faces.
Black is beautiful.
And you know what? One game got it really well, and I'm very surprised because it came from Korea, is fucking Lost Ark.
They sure as hell did.
I went to Lost Ark and I was like, oh, let's make my character. And I was playing it on stream and I was like, hold on. I can change the like hues and highs and lows and the warmth of my skin. And I made me what I'm wearing now, but like Bayonetta because I'm using guns. So like she's hot, she's fierce, she's everything. And they got some amazing like Afro hairstyles in there as well, like the braids and the little Afro. I'm like,
it has baby hairs.
It has baby hairs.
Oh, that's fine.
And this game from Korea, an Asian country that is known to be pretty racist, let's be completely real, can do this in their game and make darker skin tones like beautiful. No one has an excuse ever again. Like ever again. It's so dumb and asinine that we're here in 2022, people playing a AAA title, people waiting years to play. And if you're a black person, you're like, oh, I guess I'll just be a little ashy the whole game. Like, no. Put some cocoa butter on that bitch and we'll keep it pushing.
Do you think gaming is behind in that? Because when we look at the push in media, right? Like we have this huge push in television, movies, etc., to be more inclusive and representing Blackness in a more positive light. Do you feel like gaming has sort of felt like lost in that to where
100%? Yeah.
What do you think that? Where do you think that comes from? Why is that we're making these huge strides in media, but gaming as a media channel, as a media source, why aren't they catching up, or why aren't they at the same level as media as a whole?
They don't have people of color working for them.
That part. And I think there's a cop out. Like, I think they're from a corporate side, like people do what affinity groups, and they expect that people to show up to work, show up to this affinity group, whether it's for Pride, women, or Black people, and give their honest opinions. And then corporate doesn't give a fuck because they don't want to hire consultants and pay people to talk about their trauma. They want to just have you be on the clock, talk about your trauma, and go home with no mental health resources. So a lot of people don't speak up because of their jobs. They don't want to lose their job. They don't want to be that person. And I think that's where the gaming community lacks. They don't hire the right consultants, as Tiffany said before, to really give their expertise. And people are tired of giving their expertise for free without compensation in any form.
And I think
it's also...
Oh, go ahead.
Oh, it's also like the consumer base itself. I have said if I see one more bitch that looks like Nathan Drake, I'm going to scream. Like, I am tired of seeing the same, like, scruffy brunette white dude with blue eyes who's a little quirky. like I get Ryan Reynolds out of my video games. I love Ryan Reynolds. Get him the fuck out of here.
Yeah, I'm gonna need smoke after this.
Look, and it's also so. What was? Oh my god, I can't remember the name of it right now. The one game that came out last year that won like Game of the Year at the Game Awards, the one with the Deathloop. Deathloop had two main Black characters as the protagonist and antagonist. I saw the trailer years back when they first teasered it. I was with a friend watching E3, and I said, I'm playing this game only because there are two Black people as leads. Because this never fucking happens.
Nope.
It's either one or the other, or the Black person's like pretty light skinned, so you can't really tell if they're Black or not, or thing ABC. No, this man was dark, and she was also pretty dark. And they were like, I'm like, and they're assassins. And like the two people who made that made Dishonored, and I love the Dishonored games. They're so much freaking fun. And I was like, I gotta play this game regardless. So like having non-white male cis protagonists in my games is a must now.
100%.
At this point, it's mostly like if I play a game and there's a character creation, I can choose who I want to be. Perfect. If I have to play the game and I'm a white dude and I gotta look at him the whole time, I'm gonna be bored. Like even playing like Tomb Raider, I was like, okay, it's Lara Croft. She's a white woman going into all these places with indigenous people and destroying their artifacts and all these things. It's Colonizer the Simulator. Let's talk about it.
Yeah,
you know. But after playing the third one, and like she actually had a revelation, she's like, maybe she's like, I should stop doing this because I'm destroying culture. So I was like, oh my gosh, she sees the light. Thank God. Like, spoilers, I guess. If anyone's never played Child of Tomb Raider, but she has a revelation moment where she's like, I'm gonna stop doing this after this. I gotta finish the job and then I'll move on. So give me more, POC protagonists in my games. Give me a game where I play a villain as a Black person or a POC and I just kill white people. That's it. That's it.
Well, so another quick stat. So just as we think about like the lack of that representation for Blackness, Black consumers are the number one ethnic group in streaming or consuming media on gaming consoles. So literally, Black as an ethnic group, Black consumers consume more media on gaming consoles than any other group. And so, like, again, how is it that we have these game devs and these gaming companies that have trouble finding consultants? But the real thing comes in, like, you wouldn't need to hire consultants if you actually hired Black talent to leadership positions and positions of power, where, again, they had a stake in the company to have a voice, right? And I think some of the points that were brought up is we're not seeing Black people having a voice. And I think a big problem for me and my frustration is I don't think enough, I'm just gonna say it, I don't think enough white people have the conversation that Black people are traumatized and therefore often don't speak first or don't speak up or take the initiative because it's a matter of survival. It's a matter of safety not to, right? And not enough white people, especially professionally, are making that initiative first to say, hey, I've noticed, Ace, that you, or I'm just using your example, Ace, you haven't been talking as much. Hey, Ace, what are your thoughts on this? And then not just saying that to give Ace a speaking role, but then saying, you know what, this is what we need to listen to. We need this perspective. Now, how do we roll that out and use this within whatever strategy context that we're trying to apply, whether it's gang, whether it's whatever. And these damn affinity groups, these ERGs, once again, you're having the ERGs put in work within the organization to make your organization better, so that your organization is effective, because the data proves that the more diverse the organization is, the more diverse its business practices are, the more money it makes. So the only reason why these ERGs are existing is to improve workplace satisfaction, so your slaves will work harder.
Basically.
Say that shit.
Hold on, I'm gonna take a drink because that tea was delicious.
Oh my gosh.
So I'm curious then, with this in mind, like, and I think I kind of alluded to this thought when I introduced myself on like why, as a queer Black person, gaming was so important to me. It was my escape. Like, I'm curious, what is y'all's sort of passion behind individual passion? So, like, what is your passion in doing drag and streaming and video games, right? Like, Ace, what is your passion? What is your passion, Tiffany? Like, tell me a little bit about your, like, why you're even a gamer, why you're streaming. Like, why are you?
Oh boy.
Damn, I like that.
Okay, so I guess why I'm here in the first place, I guess, is I got into gaming super early. Like, I remember my dad getting an NES and like playing some things on there, but like what it really clicked for me when I was younger is we got a Sega Genesis, and one of the first things that I remember playing, probably shouldn't have played it, was Mortal Kombat 1. Okay, probably shouldn't have played it at the time. I was very young, but there's a moment where, because I would pick Raiden because I was like, electrical powers. I've always had a fascination with electrical powers. Go figure, a Black person liking electrical powers. I look at all the comic book characters, but I digress. It's just like I saw him and I was like, cool. And then I ended up at like 4 or 5 learning how to do his teleport move and like dash across the screen. And I would fight my dad and I would win. And I think at one point he got really frustrated because I was winning, and my mom was like, "You gotta get off the game because you're gonna hit this little bitch. Like you're gonna hit him. So step away." And so I'd play that all the time, and then Sonic the Hedgehog was on there too. I played a lot of Sonic, and like it just kept developing because like it was like me and my dad and my brother just playing these games all the time, and my dad kept getting consoles because my dad's still young at the time. You know, he's like in his like mid like late 20s. Still like buying frivolous bullshit if he has a family or whatever, and just like gaming. And then my uncle in New York, when I used to go visit him, he was young and like he got me into anime. He got me into like more games and just like developed from there. And I was just like, okay, video games are just fantastic, and like there's a place I can like, go escape to and be someone else for a while and just like do these crazy things, you know, I couldn't do before. And then that's how I've been my whole entire life, a giant nerd my whole entire life. And then it wasn't until like after I got out of high school when RuPaul's Drag Race first came on, and I was like, yo, that looks like fun. And I was like, whatever. And then I was watching it, and then like Latrice Royale came on one episode, her season. I said, that person looks like me as a fat, dark-skinned, queer person. It's like, oh, that's me. Like, that's who I am. And then, you know, just wanted to get in drag ever since then. Then I started, the first time I ever went out in drag was for my old job's company Christmas party. I went in drag. A couple months later, there was like a local show, one of the bars that was like, first time drag performers, do here, win this competition, win $100, and come back at the end of the year for a full like pageant kind of thing. I entered it first time in like public, not just like with coworkers, in drag, won the competition. I was like, I know I'm good at this already, you know. I already knew I was gonna do good because I was in choir, theater, all that crap in high school. I know how to command an audience, you know. And all of that just transferred naturally to me streaming on Twitch because it's like I like video games. I'm practicing my drag and I just like to talk shit and be the center of attention because I'm a Leo. Of course, we love the center of attention. And so that all transferred to like, once the pandemic hit, I like all the money I had like from my jobs, whatever, finally my checks finally came in. I got the stimulus and I was like, I have an influx of money I have nothing to do with. And then unemployment. So I was like, let me just build a PC. And so I built a PC specifically to play Persona 4 Golden on Steam because that just came out. I still haven't finished the game, so don't talk to me about it. That was like 2 years ago. And I was like, okay, we're going to do this next. And luckily I had one of my friends, Kiyoshiora, who's already streaming and also does drag. And so they helped me out immensely getting started. Still help me out today. And here we are almost 2 years later. And the people I've met, I absolutely love. I love the community I've built. I love the people that I've met. And if you know me and get to know me more, once you're a part of my pride, because I'm a Leo, you enter the speakeasy doors. You are never leaving until I kick you out. So also don't mess with my friends because I will go on Twitter and talk about you. I do not care.
That's valid.
So I'm a drag artist. We always talk shit. So like whatever.
I was gonna say that. Oh, you know what's going on, and I love that. Yes, I love your story. I love your backstory. I love how you came into drag. I love how you came into Twitch and gaming. I
just love it here.
Again, it just reads like safety and freedom and like space for you to create you to be whoever you want to be without retribution or without social and political sanctioning, right? Like it was this place to really become this video game of yourself.
Minus all of the racists, homophobes, hate raids that happen on Twitch that don't apparently happen. Just put like what do they say? Switch your chat to the sub only mode. Shut up! Like what? Anyway, but yeah, other than all that negative bullshit, I've had a great time on here. So,
what about you, Ace?
So I was born and raised in the country of Jamaica. Not much to do out there if you're not like running outside with no shoes on playing soccer. So I remember I think I got an N64 from America once and I was hooked. And when I came to America at the age of 7, I was like, wow, there are more video games. And I was like, this is wild. Like I played Sonic the Hedgehog for the first time. Definitely took me out. Like I was hyped. Got my PSP. I was hyped. Like my favorite games are, you know what I'm saying? Madden was my shit. Like 2K was my shit. And my brother is 10 years younger than me. The only way we would get along is if we were playing video games. And I was the elder sibling that would have to watch him in high school and things like that. Like I would have to go home because my brother's getting out of kindergarten, whatever the case may be. And I'm like, how am I going to entertain this little kid? Let's play Madden. Let me beat that ass real quick. And then I stole his TV when I went to college and I took my Xbox. So there was that. And I just... I was very petty as a kid.
I was so pissed. I'm like, you can get my shit back.
Yeah, he was very upset. So like, I just kept playing video games throughout, like even college, undergrad and grad school. It was my one way to escape from school, like from being gay and not being accepted in my family. It was like my way to breathe and get like I like adventure games. Like Last of Us got me hooked. Like I couldn't drop my controller down, and that's what I need in a video game.
Yeah.
And then I was in a relationship in 2018, and we did content creation together. We were YouTubers. We were that typical lesbian couple. We were trying to be like, cool. But mostly
lesbians on YouTube. Got it.
I wanted people to like see that, you can look like us and be in this position because I'm Jamaican and that person's Dominican. So, and we're both from the city. So to see those people collide, I feel like there's a lack of representation for that. And then I suffered a couple brain injuries, March 2020, February 2020. So at the height of COVID, and I live alone. So I had to learn how to re-walk and talk on my own while going through a breakup because the person I was dating did not want to date someone that had a brain injury. So I deleted.
Send me their at later.
I got you.
I have words.
Can we take a side moment here? I'm sorry, Ace. Can we take a side moment because I've been having some relationship things too. So let's take a moment for each of us to less than 15 seconds to go ahead and give our relationship dig, right? Like it's not very often that we get to be on a platform and say,
boy.
Ooh, this messy.
Yo, my one thing I will say as a creator that has dated people, I am sick and fucking tired of people using my brand against me just because we didn't work out. And I'll leave it there.
All right. What about you?
Oh, me?
Go ahead.
Oh, look, girl. I've been single most of my life. I have only dated and hooked up with people. Look, if you out there and you think I did you wrong, I probably did because you probably fucking deserved it.
Hello.
So don't get mad at me because you did something stupid and I said, you know what, I gotta go. Mm-hmm. The Virgo in me was like, logically, bitch, we gotta get out.
Okay, so
and the Leo in me is like, I'm petty, so let's leave with the bang.
Yes, and you said I'm not gonna let a hurt person hurt me, so you got.
I'm Angela Bassett. I'm setting that car on fire, bitch, as I walk away.
And what about
leave me alone?
What's your?
I feel bad because I'm in a 12-year-long relationship.
You got the most to say. You might need 30.
Okay, all right. So the best I would say the first red flag, always leave. If someone gives you the first red flag, I've dated for a while. Like I've been around the block. So the first red flag, leave. Don't be like, oh, I could change him. Don't. No, first red flag, leave. But if you find someone that's like your best friend, marry them. I married my best friend. I'll say that. I married my best friend. And don't move in after the first couple months. That's just bad.
No, you hauling. I'm looking at it.
I'm a lesbian, bro.
I'm just saying.
I'll do it.
You hauling before. I'm dead.
That gets real messy afterwards. If y'all break up within like a month or so, that gets real messy. Trust me.
I got a dog. My dog is sad whenever he sees somebody that has curly hair and looks Dominican. Like, come on, man.
He's like, wait. He's like, you're not the girl I thought you were. Get out.
Right, exactly. And then start barking at everybody. Nah, but like gaming, like I deleted everything after going through that, and I realized like I don't know, I was strong enough to recover. Obviously, I still identify as disabled because I still have my days of like chronic illness and things like that, and vertigo and brain injuries. No fun. But I came back to Twitch on my own, doing it slowly for myself. I just wanted people to feel like they could see someone that looks like them and know that they could do it too. Whether it's being non-binary, being Black, being Jamaican, whatever the case may be. And then where I messed up, which I don't want to say it's a mess up, but like I went deep into the advocacy within 2 months of me starting. So the Black tag really, really dragged it for me, because I was getting a lot of like notifications, a lot of like hit ups from like Pink News and things like that. And I love what I do because that's exactly what I want to do, right? Advocate and be that for people. But then I realized I can't be shit for anybody else if I don't show up for myself. So a lot of like, you know, the movements that like even Raven started, who is a close friend of mine, I backed out of that shit. Because I was like, why am I really doing this? Am I doing this for me or for other people? So I on and off for the last couple months, I've just been breathing, relearning how to breathe in gaming for me.
That's why I said earlier, you got to clean the house for invite anyone else over.
Right.
It's very important to take that time for yourself. Be like, what am I really doing here?
Right.
Who am I doing this for? So.
Right, because then you advocate, you do all this shit, and then you have these brands that reach out to you just because of that. Oh, you're somebody that people are watching right now. Let me capitalize on your Black trauma. Let me capitalize on your queer trauma. And no shade, I'm not going to call companies out, but there are major companies that have done that to creators, and we feel like absolute shit. Like I'm in a group chat with certain people are going to pick up if they know what I'm talking about. But I did something a couple months ago with certain larger creators, and we were not treated fairly. And it was very apparent that we were just going to be like the Black saviors or whatever the case may be. And I had to step away. We all stepped away at the same time on the same email chain.
Mm-hmm.
So that part gets tiring, but I still love what I do.
Mm-hmm. It's the message of the day. If you love what you do, it's not work, you know?
Exactly.
That part.
So.
I love that. And I really love how this conversation about relationships really was able to bring in some like insight, Ace, into some of the Black experience within having to feel like they're constantly advocating for things and to feel like we're at the forefront, and the importance of really focusing on what does mental health look like for a Black person. And but real quick, to shamelessly take my 15-second dig, I want to tell people out there to stop freaking putting people into friend zones, but wanting to still be their friends. Like if you think they're that amazing and that wonderful and that great, and all this talk of loving to spend time with them and loving to do this stuff with them, then step the hell up and stop trying to put them in a friend zone.
What's your zodiac sign?
If they're really that good, that great, then get out your comfort.
Okay? Oh my God.
And I think this really like goes into some of that.
Like, hold on. You just can't.
No, we're
just can't say all that to move right on because that was some fire. I did nothing to you, but I feel attacked. Hold on. Y'all too?
Right.
Oh boy.
Not on a Sunday night.
This is the Lord's Day. And you said, let there be the devil coming out.
Feelings for the weekend, so y'all got to hear it.
Oh my God.
But so to move this now, because I just wanted my shameless moment. Ace, I want you to continue on and talk to us about this, because especially with the idea of relationships in mind, but just in general, and I want everybody else to delve into this question too, chime in. Like, what does come on, somebody wants to say hi. They keep jumping up. Say hello.
Hi.
Oh my God. Okay.
They're beautiful.
What does mental health mean to y'all? And like, how do you make sure that not just within gaming, not just within the media, not just within your work and your daily life or relationships, how do you like fit mental health into your life? How do you fit self-care into your life? And what does like self-care and mental health mean to you? And how can other people take some advice from you to implement that in their life?
So it's hard because I didn't realize I needed to take a step back until I was at my breaking point in December. And I actually broke down a lot. Like I said earlier, Wreck-It Raven was one of my close friends. And I just was on the phone with them, ugly crying, because I just felt like no one understands what I'm going through. You know what I mean? That's how everyone feels. Like, people do understand how I'm going through if I vocalize that, but I don't. So I feel like I'm losing community members. I'm losing traction. I'm losing all of these things because I'm choosing myself. But if you're important to you, you got to take that risk. And I have the privilege to say that Twitch is not my main source of income. So that's an added factor. So I have the privilege of stepping away and coming back whenever I want to. But nonetheless, I miss everything that I do. I miss my friends. I miss gaming all the time. But I need to lay in my bed and watch Vampire Diaries and smoke my vape. I need to like go to the bar once a month with a friend. I need to breathe. And advocacy took that from me. Advocacy took the breath within me. And when I realized that, I broke. Because my entire life became these 4 screens. And I can't do that shit. I can't do that for anybody else. I'm only 27. I'm not about to lose my life for Twitch. And when I realized, like, yes, we're doing so great advocating. We're doing things like Tiffany got partnered when they deserve the fuck out of that shit. I've seen that.
100%.
For real. Like,
when you called Twitch out.
I was just saying, Twitch does these baby things because I'm not going to front. That should have been done years ago. I don't give a fuck.
Oh, thank you. That means a lot.
No, for real.
We all know Twitch slacking on board shit they gotta be doing. So
they do the bare minimum. Motherfuckers get happy, and it's like Twitch never messed up. I can't do that. I can't be like, oh well, they did one great thing, so let me forget everything they did. Let me give you a perfect example. The lawsuit that they sent out, I was one of the 2 creators quoted. Didn't hide my name, didn't hide my @ name, didn't hide my picture, nothing. I work in government. So there was a huge thing because people did not understand that I did not want to be, I guess, for lack of a better word, doxxed, because how hard is it then to find me after you see all those identifying factors without my permission? And a lot of other creators, especially Black creators, did not agree with me. I got blocked from a lot of people that are larger creators, Twitch partners, because they didn't believe in that stance. But that's when I was just like, fuck it, I'm not going to do this for another Black creator. I'm not going to do this for anybody but me. So I stepped away. So that's my advice. My advice is choose you, be you, and be kind to yourself. Fuck everybody else.
I love, can you say that one more time? Choose who?
Choose you, be kind to yourself, and fuck everybody else.
I don't think people really understand how important that is. You got to choose you.
Yeah.
And be kind to yourself. We as Black people don't give ourselves enough grace. And I think this goes back to slavery and this historical kind of idea of where we came from. Because I grew up in sports, right? And I happen to be adopted. And my adopted parents are white. And so my parents would be like, oh my God, look at Danny, he's out there killing it. He's out there killing it. And I remember one time my mom turned to one of the other players' parents who was Black and said like, oh my God, such and such is doing good. Oh, and the response was, oh, he's doing all right. He's doing okay. But when you think about why, it's because the Black family is scared to uplift the Black children because it creates a target on their back. It creates a target on their children's back. So that you don't necessarily want to speak that up into existence. And I had to like really delve into this with one of my friends and talk about this because I didn't understand it. Because again, I was coming from a very like white ideological mindset at the time when I was younger. And they kind of got into the history of this stuff. And I was just like, wow, like when you think about this. And so the mental health and changing our narrative and giving ourselves grace and allowing ourselves to choose us and celebrate ourselves is so important.
Right.
I was just actually talking to some friends this morning about, because we're talking about like mental health and like, you know, for a friend being diagnosed by their teacher with ADHD way back in the day, right? And I was telling them, I was like, you know, like the Black community, there's such a stigma around so many things, sexuality being one of them, but mental health being another one. It's like, oh, you're sad? No, you're not. You're just go take a nap, get some to eat, drink some water, whatever. Like all those things that people tell like people nowadays. That's constantly. And like I was a very like I'm a very emotional child, right? I didn't know how to manage my like emotions very well. So I got picked on by my brother and my cousins all the time. Never got picked on in schools. I was the tallest, biggest one in school at all times. Okay. But also I was the nicest one. And so my family, my brother, my cousins would like pick on me because I was the nice one. And they're like, oh, you're just gonna cry about it. Until one day I just popped off, got so angry, tears in my eyes, angry, and just started swinging. And then it was just like fight or flight ever since then. It was always fight. And then my mom used to threaten me by saying, I was like, I'm going to send you to a psychologist. I'm going to send you to a psychiatrist because there's something wrong with you. And that just like stuck with me my whole life. It's like, okay, so manage my anger and then I won't be told that I'm crazy. You know?
Oh boy.
And so it's always been with me. And like, I still have yet to go see a therapist, either to go see a psychiatrist, whatever, but like, I need to at this point in my life. Like, I'm 31. I lost both my jobs because of the pandemic, because I work in customer service. And I've been trying to look for a job for fucking months. No one wants to hire me because I've been out of work for so long. And so like, Twitch is like what I do. And the mental toll that takes on you is just enormous. And so like I had taken like about a month and a half break from like basically all of November, like half of September, half of December. It was just like, I'm not going to stream for a minute. I had this whole thing and I was like, I got to take time for me. I got to figure out what's going on with me. And I came back, and like sometimes I feel like I came back too early, but it's like, you know, this is my only source of income, so I'm going to have fun while I do it. And I was stressing out because as a drag artist on Twitch, you're like, okay, if I don't stream in drag, then no one's going to show up. But then to get into drag is like a 2 to 3 hour affair to then stream for, in my opinion, if I'm going to sit there and get in drag for 2 hours, I'm going to stream for at least 4. I get double the wear out of it. And so however long it takes to get into drag, I stream for double that time. And let me tell you right now, playing Apex Legends and lashes is not it.
No.
Like, I wear glasses and I need glasses to see. So I'm sitting here just like, what's that? Who's over there? And then it is the worst. And I'm just like, okay, well, we're gonna do some FPS and lashes today because this is fucking stupid. And it's just like a whole lot. Like, I'm constantly like in Discords with my friends who are just like very open, like understanding, and like we talk about these things all the time. Very heavy subject matter we talk about all the time. And it's just like, you know, I was like, how are you doing? I'm like, honestly, depressed. I'm sad. I'm feeling this kind of way. This is happening right now. And just like, you know, but because of the stigma, I don't talk about that a whole lot. Like, I'll talk to other people and like reassure them, but I don't like to talk about my own mental state unless it like comes to a breaking point where I'm like, you know, I got to talk about this. This is really bothering me. And it's like, I feel like a burden. I feel like, you know, I feel like a loser when I talk about these things. And I know I shouldn't because people go through this all the time, but the community has made me feel like I can't talk about it because this is weakness.
That part though.
So I know how I feel that 100%. Oh my God.
So yeah, I know. Yes.
As we're closing in on time, but I really want to hear your thoughts on mental health. And then after you talk about mental health, I have a final question for us to quickly kind of give a very snapshot answer. And then we're gonna have a little bit of fun being the Black Raiders this time, right? All right.
Oh my God.
So we're thugging, all right? So Tiffany, one, Aphasia, I want to say thank you for what you just said, because I think too often we all feel like burdens for expressing ourselves, for sharing our feelings, our emotions, and don't let other people's issues within themselves and what they don't want to hear become oppressive to what you need to express. And you should not feel guilty for expressing your feelings because you have every right to do so. And so, Tiffany, I'm curious, like, what has been your thing in mental health in gaming and as a streamer?
So, last year I had a pretty interesting year. I with a typical queer, I am also an advocate. I do a lot of charity work. Like, I think last year I did 30 charity streams, whether it being with teens, by myself. I raised a lot of money for a lot of amazing causes. And I got partnered, I got sponsorships, I got all this, that. By the end of the year, I was broken. I was stressed. I was crying a lot. I have multiple chronic illnesses. I have lupus, RA, Sjögren's syndrome, epilepsy. So I suffer from a lot, and I just broke down because I realized I was doing all this work for other people, but I wasn't really worried that much about myself with my health. And it really hit me to a point where I said, I'm going to take a week off and I'm going to think about these things. And I always thought I had like imposter syndrome, because every time something good would happen to me, I would instantly like, do you deserve this? I would hear a voice like, do you deserve this? Do you
I pretend not to hear it because I have the same thing. So
yeah.
it's that little thing in your ear. You're like, you don't deserve all these things that you're getting. Like,
yeah,
this
you
isn't
didn't work
you.
for this. Yeah.
Like, oh.
And I was like, and I had to like, I finally said I think it was like end of December, I signed up for therapy. I did. I was like, I met, and I was very picky with the therapist I want. I wanted a person of color who also is for, who also assessed me for non-binary, non-religious, indigenous, or Black. And that was my standards. And I actually found someone. And when I started doing those therapy sessions, I started improving, and the therapist said, "You do not have imposter syndrome. You have something called an inner critic." And when they told me that, it was these sessions helped me improve my mental health. This year I actually backed down of doing a lot of charity streams. I used to do 4 a month, like 4 different causes a month will raise at least $2,500 per month for different causes. But I had to sit there and go, no. And I would have people like come to me and say, hey, can you raise money for this? I said, I can't do it, man. I can't. I don't want it. And there's something actually called charity burnout. I said, I can't do it. I'm so sorry. I do not want to get burned out for the sake of my health and for my content. I do not want to get burned out because I had to think about, I do streaming full time. This is what I want to do. I want to help people. I want to make content. I want to raise money, and I want to be an accessibility advocate and consultant, but I can't do that broke. And I also can't do that if I'm going through my own problems and I can't pay for that. So I getting therapy was one of the most hardest things I ever had to admit I needed, because I grew up in a very Christian home. My mother wasn't very Christian, but I had a very Christian family who believed depression was something that you could just pray away. And so me getting therapy was such a huge step for me. And I highly suggest, if you're ever in the dark spot, if you ever need help, there are programs like RAD that will help you get therapy, that will help you get what you need. And it's not an easy thing to admit. It really isn't. So, yeah.
I just want to say that what I loved about everything you said, there was one piece of it that, like, I think we need to lift up for other people to understand is you were very picky with your therapist. Look, I'm a sneaker person, but like whatever it is that you like, right? Like every therapist is not made equal, and every therapist is not. You literally have to take the time to find the right fit, and I think that's the most important takeaway is it's hard to take yourself to therapy, and it's also gonna be hard to find that therapist. But be encouraged that like there's a therapist for you, and it's okay to find the right one. And you may be like, I didn't like that one in our consultation, or I did a first session, I didn't like that one, but don't
100%.
Keep going. So to close this, I want to pose this question for us, and let's keep this one as shortish as possible. And because we did good, y'all. We did our thing.
I do like talking.
So. We like talking. So this is my thought. If you have your younger you, a younger Black you, a younger you that hasn't yet come into non-binary, hasn't come into their queerness, hasn't come into their dragness, hasn't really fully grasped, the ability or whatever, right? Like, what would you tell this younger you?
Oh God. I don't even. Someone else go first. I don't know.
I'm just gonna say words. I don't want to be corny, but like it does get that. Oh fuck! I never wanted to be that older gay. Like, it does get better. Like I just never wanted to do that shit. But like it really does, because I never understood like what non-binary meant until this past year. Twitch taught me that. I always because I'm a stud, whatever that means. Like people always swear that I'm into them just because they have a vagina, just because they're femme presenting, whatever the case may be. Finding out that I'm non-binary and having both like traits and things like that, and not even identifying as a woman, has been amazing. You will find your people, you will find your family. It's gonna take a while to find the wife part, but the wife part will happen when you fall in love with yourself first. So that's what I would say to my younger self.
Drop it. When you fall in love with yourself, mic drop. Boom.
I would probably say just do those things you've wanted to do. Don't don't think of the consequences. Just if you want to do it, just do it. Because you'll do it eventually, but you're like, damn, I waited too long to do this. I could have been better at this. I could have done this long time ago. And just like believe in yourself more, because you're better than you think you are. Like, also just like, don't fall asleep in school in the last period, because just don't do it, girl. It'll make your life so much easier. Just do the homework, bitch. Just do the homework. You will not have to do that again. So
what I love about what you said was basically, and I'm going to paraphrase it into another statement, which is, you deserve what you feel you deserve. So feel like you deserve whatever the fuck you want, and that's what it comes down to. Like, so thank you for it's. I love y'all. Tiffany, you're up.
I think I would tell my younger self to learn how to say no. Do not be a yes man. Because that's what I just work, and I just don't know. I didn't know how to say no to people. And I will also tell them that no matter what someone tells you or what their intentions might be or how pretty they make their words, always dig a little deeper into what they're saying, because they could be someone. I've learned that people can make their speech sound so beautiful but have so bad intentions behind it. So I always say, I would tell them, just be careful of those snakes in the grass and be careful of wolves in sheep clothing. That's what I would tell my younger self.
Don't fall from the honey words, girl. Don't do it.
Especially in the streaming space, because a lot of motherfuckers mask themselves as friends, but then you get a sponsorship and it's like, who the fuck is Ace? What?
Oh, trust me.
Yes. All right. Well, I think.
How many names, y'all? How many names to the hood I need to fucking avoid? Because
you'd be surprised.
My last bit of thought from my younger self, and I think this is a season that I'm in right now, and so I think I need my younger self to know it, or anyone else out there, is enjoy the damn process.
Trust the process.
I know you want to get to 10, right? And that's important when you get there. So celebrate it when you get there. But bruh, whatever. 1 through 9 is just as important, because you ain't getting the 10 through that. And then while you're going through 1 through 9, learn to enjoy number 1, learn to enjoy number 2, learn to enjoy number 3, learn to enjoy every single step, because that is all part of the process. And when you get to that number 10, if you would have enjoyed the process as much as possible, you're going to walk away with more than just the prize of 10. You're going to walk away with the prize of all them numbers added up, and you just being your most authentic, full, aware, powerful, excellent self, right? So enjoy the process. That's where I'm at. And then I just want to thank everybody for attending, and you all for joining our panel. And we ain't gonna call it a raid. We mobbing, all right? We are mobbing. We're gonna fulfill that Black stereotype, y'all. We're mobbing to, what is this? We're gonna Surreal Camille.
Yes! Surreal Camille is my Stream Queen sibling, Team Technicolor sibling, amazing drag artist, Black content creator, and musician.
I love that.
Me too.
They're fantastic. They're stunning, and they are in this era of their makeup where it's black and white and very graphic. They look stunning tonight. So
love it. So
just saying, we bringing the cookout over, girl. Hope she ready. Hope she hungry.
Here we come. Thank you, everybody. I appreciate y'all.
Thank you. I had so much fun.
Yeah, this was wonderful. Thank you for having me.
Yes. All righty.
For real.